Good afternoon, students. This is your economics online class. We are discussing 8th chapter Indian economy before and after independence. In the last class, we completed the introduction Indian economy during the British period, the period of industrial capital, the period of merchant capital, period of financial capital, and the land tenure system. Okay, 3 land tenure system. What are they? Zamindari system, Rayatwari system, Mahalwari system, and decline of Indian handicrafts, everything discussed in. In this video, we have to discuss about problems of British rule and important industrial policies, industrial policy resolution in 56 and Green Revolution. So what are the problems happened during the British period in India? The British rule stunned the growth of Indian enterprises. Every development of the industries were stunned by the British. Okay, so that all the economy of India were collapsed by the British. So economic policies of British checked and retarded capital formation in India. So that the economic policies made by the British and checked over and retarded capital formation in India happened. The drain of wealth financed capital development in Britain. So the financial wealth increased in Britain. So they drained the resources and wealth from India and they get development in Britain. Indian agriculture sector became stagnant and deteriorated even when a large section of Indian population was dependent on agriculture for subsistence. So that even though the Indian peoples are engaged in agricultural sector, so that and all stagnant. So stagnant means stacking there itself. There is no development. So when the large section of Indian people depending only the agriculture, so the Indian agriculture were stagnant during the British period. The British rule in India led the collapse of handicrafts industries without making any significant contribution to development of any modern industrial base. They didn't do any modern industrial base here. They drain all the resources from India to getting benefit to their Britain, their motherland. All the resources drained India, and then beneficial country is Britain. Okay, they brought everything from India and accommodate in their motherland. So that during the British period, all the handicraft industries were collapsed. Okay, there were no any significant contribution contributed by the British rule. Some efforts by the colonial British regime in developing the plantations, mines, jute mills, banking and shipping mainly promoted a system of capitalist firms that were managed by foreigners. These profit motives led to further drain of resources from India. So all the resources drained from India and they brought into their motherland. So that some effort were did by them in their colonial countries. India is also the colonial countries of British, isn't it? So that they did development in the plantation of mines, jute mills, banking, shipping, mainly promoted system of capitalism. It's a capitalist firm. So why did they develop this section only? Because of the resources drained from India. And these are the problems happened during the British period to the Indians. Okay. So this may ask in your 5 mark question. Then next topic is important industrial policies prior to 1991. India is Asia's third largest economy. You know that. The 70 years of independence have brought a remarkable change in the socio-economic landscape of India. So after independence, the 70 years we experiencing remarkable changes where in the socio-economic landscape of India. Then the economic development of a country particularly depends on the process of industrialization. So the Indian economy, the economic conditions and all developed in the industrialization. So that at the time of independence, India inherited a weak and shallow industrial base. So all the resources drained, isn't it? Drained by British. After independence, what were there? Nothing is there. So limited resources only we had. So that the India inherited a weak and shallow industrial base. Therefore, during the post-independence period, the government of India took special emphasis on the development of solid industrial base. So that the post-independence period, government only taking initial developmental projects. Okay. So they took special emphasis on development of a solid industrial base. The Industrial Policy Resolution of 1948 and 1956 clearly stated that the need for developing both small-scale industries and large-scale industries. So that after the independence, 1948 and 1956, the industrial policy were resolution of industrial policy made by the Indian peoples, Indian leaders, about small-scale industries as well as the large-scale industries. So during the British period, all the trade controlled by the British only. The trade policy and all made by them for their favor. So after the independence, all the industrial policies and all, the trade policies and all, resolution made by the Indian leaders. Industrial Policy Resolution happened in 1948. What are the resolution did by the Indian government? The government of India recognized the significant contribution of industrialization. Okay, after independence, the government of India made significant contribution to the industrialization. Therefore, the government of India declared its first industrial policy on 6th April 1948. So this is one more question. Okay. So the first industrial policy on 6th April 1948 they formulated. The main importance of this policy was that it assured in India the system of mixed economy. System of mixed economy in India they were experiencing. And the industries were classified into four groups. Okay, four groups such as public sector. See here, public sector, public cum private sector, controlled private sector, private and cooperative sector. These are the sectors classified by the government. This policy endeavored to protect cottage and small scale industries. So the policies endeavored and protect the cottage and small scale industries. The central and state government had a virtual monopoly in railroads and exclusive rights to develop minerals, iron ore, etc. So they concentrate all the policies, resolution and virtual monopoly abolished by the government. They concentrate the virtual monopoly on the railroads, rights to develop minerals and iron ores, etc. These are concerned. Okay, they governed. The government encouraged the significance of foreign capital for industrialization, but the government decided that the control should remain with Indian hands. Okay, they should concentrate about the control should concentrate by the Indian people. So they encouraged the significance importance given to the foreign capital. Even though they gave importance to the foreign capital, they decided that the control should remain with the Indian hand. Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. So one more Indian industrial policy resolution were made by the Indian government in 1956. The industrial policy of 1956 sought to give a dominant role to the public sector. They concentrate public sector here. At the same time, they gave assured fair treatment to the private sector. Okay, so even though they gave importance to the public sector, they treat the private sector also as a favor. The government would support and encourage cottage and small scale enterprises by restricting volume of production in the large scale sector by differential taxation or by the direct subsidies. Okay, the government would support all the cottage industries and encouraging the small scale industries and restricting the volume of production in the large scale sector. Okay, and the subsidies and checking over the different differential taxation. This industrial policy emphasized in the necessity of reducing the regional disparities in levels of development, so that the government governing and emphasizing the necessity of reducing the regional disparities. There is no partial. So the regional disparities reduced by the government for their levels of development. The government recognized the need for foreign capital for progressive Indianization of foreign concern. So they allow foreign capital and they checking over them for their progressive and Indianization of foreign concerns. Okay. The next topic is Green Revolution. The term Green Revolution refers to the technological breakthrough in agricultural practices. So during the 1960s, the traditional agricultural practices were gradually replaced by modern technology and agricultural practices in India. So that in 1960s, the agricultural practices were replaced by modern technology and agricultural practices in India. Initially, the new technology was tried in 1960-61 as a pilot project in 7 districts. Okay, initially there were the sample project did by the government in the 7 districts. It was happened in 1960 to 1961. Okay, it was named as pilot project. This may be asked in 1 mark. It was called as High Yielding Varieties Program, HYVP, High Yielding Varieties Program. So achievements of Green Revolution. What are the achievements made by the government through the Green Revolution? The major achievement of the new strategy was to boost the production of major cereals. So what are the major cereals? Wheat and rice. These are the major cereals in India. Okay. So India was depending on the US for the food grain. On those days, India was depending on food grains to whom? US. So that the US, by using public law 440, exported wheat to India. So depending upon the public law, the US is exporting wheat to India. Indians were waiting for the ship to ship their food. From where? From US. So they eagerly waiting for the food from the ship. On the other hand, India has lot of their minerals. The US could strategically exploit Indian mineral resources at cheapest price for manufacturing missiles and weapons. They using our resources for manufacturing missiles and weapons, which gave job opportunity for large US youth and largely contributed to US GDP. Okay, they using our resources for their manufacturing company. So what they manufacture here? Missiles and weapons. So through the manufacturing company, the job opportunity is going to lead the US youths only. So US youths only hired there. The job opportunity going to them. So that the US GDP increased. But now India is food surplus. At present, India is food surplus, exporting food grains to the European countries and all. But India now have food surplus. So exporting food grains to the other countries. and European countries also. So this is also one of the achievement, isn't it? The Green Revolution was confined only to high-yielding varieties, HYV. So they concentrate the cereals, mainly rice, wheat, maize and jowar. And the strategies was also directed to increase the production of commercial crops or cash crops such as sugarcane, cotton, jute, oilseed and potatoes. They concentrate all those crops, commercial crops as well as the cash crops. Per hectare, productivity of all crops had increased due to the better seeds. The high-yielding varieties, the seeds, the new seeds are invented, so that per hectare productivity of all crops had increased due to the better seeds. Then the Green Revolution had positive effect on development of industries which manufactured agricultural tools like tractors, engines, threshers and pumping sets. So that along with the Green Revolution, the manufacturing agricultural tools also developed. So Green Revolution achieved. The Green Revolution had brought prosperity to rural people. Okay, they always depending on the agricultural works, so that the Green Revolution had brought prosperity to the rural people. Increased production had generated employment opportunities for the rural masses. Okay, rural people engaged in the agricultural field, so that the employment opportunities increased. Due to this, their standard of living also had increased. Due to multiple cropping and more use of chemical fertilizer, the demand for labor increased. So that the high-yielding varieties, because of high-yielding varieties, they used chemical fertilizer, and so increasing the production of foods, so that the demand for labor increased there. Financial resources were provided by banks and cooperative societies to the agriculturists. These banks provided loans to the farmers on easy terms. Okay, easily they can repay the loan amount. So that the cooperative bank and societies were started by the government to providing loan to the farmers. So these are the achievements of Green Revolution. So students, today we discussed about problems of British rule, industrial policy, revolution and Green Revolution. Okay, you have to concentrate all the topics and you have to write test.